Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, alongside my counterpart halfway across the world, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. It's one of our big shows. Kind of interested to see how this is going to go. It's kind of a. I think we're going to kind of do this as a memorial show, as I think we were talking about. So
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
interested.
And it's one of our mega shows, so we're going to go hour plus. Missed a few weeks. So just like baseball games, we like to make it up to you guys and give you guys a little extra. But like Tim said, kind of a memorial show. I mean, we're still got our birthdays and for August and our August people that passed away. But myself and Tim, if you guys haven't watched the news, our back we love wrestling. We lost a couple a legend, up and coming legend, back to back days, and then on a third day in a row, lost our childhood game show host and Bob Barker. So uh, our childhood's kind of creeping away there, Tim. I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, granted, we never met these people in person, but you know, growing up watching wrestling, watching Terry Funk, watching Bray Wyatt, and then you know, sick days. What did you do on sick days? You turned on Prices Right, watch Bob Barker. So, you know, I don't know how you felt, but I kind of, you know, felt part of my childhood just kind of disappearing there. So,
Yeah, it was different. I was the one that brought the Bob Barker news to
yeah,
everybody to our group, and that was kind of a kick in the face. And you brought Bray Wyatt to me,
yeah,
which was I think the Bob Barker was like the payback for giving me the Bray Wyatt.
yeah,
Um, it's a huge. I was a M. I'm going to say M because that, like LA Knight says, the Fireflies. You're we don't lose, we just gain.
yeah,
And Terry Funk, Terry Funk. I think everybody has said everything about Terry Funk. Um, to see what that man has done for the face of wrestling over the years, he wasn't the pioneer. He was the innovator.
nope,
He innovated so many different matches. He innovated so many different promotions, different organizations. Hell, he even innovated different wrestlers. And you go
nope,
on Twitter and you see how many wrestlers and to have that infected. I love to say that because it's what he did. Terry Funk infected so many different wrestlers to get what we call this illness of wrestling. Um, and to hear Ric Flair lose his mind saying, "How dare ESPN not cover Terry Funk after his passing?" You know what? I don't normally agree with Ric Flair about things, but I have to agree. I have to agree. Terry Funk was the innovator. You needed to say something on ESPN.
yeah. There's something about that. I agree. I mean, you know, there's certain icons in other entertainments that people should go out of the way to cover. And in the wrestling business, I mean, Flair, Hogan, I mean, Terry Funk. I mean, just watching some of his old footage, he was a normal wrestler, and then all of a sudden got old and crazy, as a lot of people say. And then he went strictly hardcore, and the guy did it. I don't know how he still was walking, but anyways, so yeah, so we got a little tribute. As a matter of fact, let's start with one of those tributes in honor of Terry Funk. Craziest wrestling matches. I have a couple with the Funk, but I hope they all on your side weren't Funk matches. But if they are, they are. But Tim, let's start with your number 5 craziest wrestling matches you've heard of.
I'll be honest. I have one Funk.
Okay.
Um, these are crazy matches. These were crazy when I heard about these matches, and then when you said this is the one we need to do,
So,
because
how many we got? You think?
I've if you're all Funk, we've got one.
No, I don't. I'm not all Funk. No.
Okay, at least one. I'm gonna. There's a strange one in here. I don't know if it's a curveball. My number one is just weird. Um, I would say one or two, maybe three.
Okay.
Three might be pushing it.
Yeah, I think three's pushing. I'll stick with two. I think we'll start with two. So
My number 5. When I heard about this match, I thought it was crazy. I didn't think it was gonna work. It was during the pandemic, and the C, and it just happens to involve one of our tribute members today. But he wrestled John Cena. I thought WrestleMania. I thought this is probably one of the most, during that time, I think it was one of the most innovative matches I've seen. It was brilliant. One of the best cinematic ones next to the Boneyard match. But so it's the match that involved Bray Wyatt and John Cena, the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, that was a good one. That if we went top 10, that'd definitely be there. It did not make my list. One of my number 5. I'm going. Matter of fact, I think a lot of these are going to go back way old school. I remember watching this match on a pay-per-view back in the WCW days. I think it was Dustin Rhodes, one of his first big-time matches, and it's not the Goldust Piper match, but they called it a King of the Road match, and they literally had, I think it was two semi attached with 2 trailers on their enclosed cage, and they fought as the semi was driving. I mean, they take a turn, they get thrown off. It was Rhodes versus Blacktop Bully back in early 90s, I think it was. So you're number 4.
I saw that on the list, and I thought,
that's a while you're moving.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pull that trick off. My number 4, it was a tag team match. It involved the New Age Outlaws with Mick Foley, the aforementioned Mick Foley, and the aforementioned Terry Funk as his alter ego, Chainsaw Charlie. I absolutely love Chainsaw Charlie. He was absolutely psychotic. But the only way you could win this match is if you threw your opponent in the dumpster. I love this. I remember seeing this match, and I think at the end, didn't they push the dumpster off the edge of the stage? Yeah. I saw this match, and the thing is, the only 2 people crazy enough. To be honest, I'd have thought when I saw this match, I thought that it was going to be Terry and Mick in the dumpster getting pushed off the stage, but it wasn't, because those 2 are crazy enough to do it. Unless I'm wrong, I might be. If I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. But
Terry Mankind weren't in the dumpster when it got pushed off. The Outlaws pushed them off.
Right, but then they lose the match. But the Outlaws had lost the match, but then they turned around and got shoved into the dumpster.
Yeah, so I can't remember. You might be right on the outcome, but yeah.
But yeah, when I saw that, I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, here's a crazy one. My number 4 was I believe it was a 4-on-4. Kind of like War Game style, but it was like they called it the Chamber of Horrors match. And the biggest outcome of that was when Abdul the Butcher got kicked into an electric chair, and it literally electrocuted him.
Yeah,
how they pulled it off, but
I saw that. It was, what was it? It was Mick Foley had pulled the lever, thinking that it was Rick Steiner. Yep. Okay, I'm sorry, but Rick Steiner is a white guy. And Abdul the Butcher is the size of Jabba the Hutt, and he's black. Yeah. And yeah, you can't mistake in those. And when I heard that, I thought it was absolutely crazy.
Yeah. All right, you're number 3.
This one, I saw this one. I thought when you brought this one up, when you brought this category up, I immediately thought of this match. I don't know why. This was about the time that McMahon thought he was better than everybody and that he would wrestle God. Yeah. and it takes place at Backlash 2006. It's the McMahons versus HBK, the Heartbreak Kid versus and God.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. Now that would be a good like cinematical match, or
Yeah.
you know. My number 3. We've had cage matches before. We've had Hell in a Cell. Heck, why not? Let's put them both together. It was a Kennel from Hell match. It was Boss Man versus Al Snow inside a cage, inside a Hell in a Cell, and in between the two was vicious dogs running around and waiting to attack them.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and rewatch that match because
I gotta watch that too.
Yeah,
I saw that one and I'm like, oh, okay. When I saw that in the list, I'm like, I gotta go back and watch that one because I don't remember that one all too well.
All right, your number 2 match.
My number 3 match. Yeah, my number 2. You're right. I don't know what this was, and I don't know. This might be the young adult in me. During the Attitude Era, for some reason, Vince McMahon thought he was still in his 20s and thought this would be cool for everybody to watch. But they called them, for some reason, when I looked them up, they were called strip matches. Okay. And I know what you're thinking. What's a strip match? A strip match in the back in the WWF Attitude Era were called the bra and panties matches.
Yep.
That's basically somebody who knew. I think Vince McMahon found out what Viagra was and wanted the kids to have it too.
Yeah.
But that's my number 2.
All right. My number 2, and we're getting crazier because I believe I don't know if this is ECW or back over in Japan, but it was a match with New Jack versus Vic Grimes in a scaffolding match. So
that was ECW. That was ECW.
Okay. Yeah, you talk about crazy. You go up. It looked like they had like 4 different size scaffolds up there, and you wrestled and climbed, and yeah. I don't know, not for me. So your number 1 match.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of heights, and you're going to throw me off a 20-foot scaffolding. I'm definitely not a fan of heights after that. I'm interested because I saw something that was really interesting, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I didn't realize this until I looked it up, and this literally scared me. And now I got to go back to I don't even know if the WWE Network has this. This is how scary this is. Back in 1999, Davey Boy Smith came back and did a little return, right?
Okay.
Briefly, he had a small little feud with The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you know that they had a specialty match?
Not offhand.
Well, it was funny because you know how Davey Boy Smith is known as the British Bulldog. Yep. And The Rock says, well, no, Rock comes out and says, well, we'll have something called a dog poo match. Okay. Where the winner has to put the loser through a tray of dog poop. And that was in 99. When I saw that, I'm like, this goes on the list. It has to go on the list because now I have to go back and I got to go look for it.
Yeah. Well, we're 0 for 5 because my number 1 involves Terry Funk and Otini. Back over in Japan, they had no ropes. The ropes were barbed wire, and it was the original no ropes exploding barbed wire match.
Oh, I heard about that one.
Again, right. I don't know how they pulled off some of these matches, but you know, like they said, Terry Funk, Mick Foley are some crazy SOBs, and you know, so all right. So let's move into let's go. Let's do alter egos. So again, this is another tribute category to Bray Wyatt, who had an alter ego. So I will start first.
Okay, I have to ask. How did you go about getting your alter egos? Did they have to have an in-ring persona first and then have an alter ego as well?
Yeah, I kind of went that route.
Okay,
on
good.
some of this,
Okay,
so,
we're good then. I
yeah.
just had to be sure.
We should have a solid 3. I mean,
I think we may have 3. We may have
we could
4.
have 4.
We could have 4.
Yep.
But go ahead. I'm
All
dying
right.
to hear number 5.
Yeah. My number 5, a man by the Charlie Wright had a couple, but his most famous 2 was Papa Shango, and then he turned around and become the Godfather. So I'm going with Charlie Wright as the Godfather and Papa Shango. And WWE for the longest time tried to play it off as those 2 were not the same people.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you're number 5.
All right, so we went a little different.
Okay.
I went with somebody who had a persona in the WWE, WCW, ECW,
Okay.
whatever, and then had hid themselves in another persona.
Okay.
So there was this. You arguably, who's the most famous wrestler ever? Arguably.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. The top 2 are going to be Hogan or Flair.
Okay, we'll give you Hogan.
Okay.
Most people don't remember. Remember, there was a brief time where, what was it? Hogan couldn't be in the ring, couldn't be in the arena or something, and he ended up having this alter ego called Mr. America. My number 5 is Hulk Hogan's alter ego, Mr. America.
So you went, okay. Yeah, I thought about throwing that up there, and I'm just like, that was honestly really dumb. I mean, if they would have covered up,
if they would have went this way, he'd have been fine. If they would have
covered up the facial hair, because I mean, you obviously knew it was Hogan.
Yeah.
And again, the alter egos, we kind of know who they are.
Yeah.
So, my number 4, I believe they still call him this too when he does bring it out. He kind of only brings it out in big time pay-per-view matches, and that's Finn Balor as the Demon King. And I think WWE really missed the ball on teaming them up with somebody else. So
they missed it. They missed one big one.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell us your number 4.
My number 4. I'm gonna go TNA / Impact Wrestling. Granted, okay, this wrestler is now with the WWE. But he's not in the ring. He's not an in-ring persona anymore. He's behind the stage. He's backstage with talent relations.
I know who you're going with.
But I absolutely love this character. I thought it was hilarious when you find out that it's actually himself. And that's Joseph Park, who's actually supposed to be the brother of Abyss, but he's also his lawyer. But it's also played by the guy who's Abyss. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was best stuff out there.
I should have used that one other Godfather because that was a good one. I had him on my list, and I'm just like, no. But now thinking about it, because I mean, he shaved completely. I had a hard time believing it was him. I totally did. But so my number 3 again. If you don't put this guy on the list with the alter ego, because he had one, and that's Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. I mean, definitely my number 3. I just still amazed. I'm just dumbfounded of the news that broke. So, and I think him and Finn Balor would have been an excellent team, both as the Fiend and Finn Balor and Wyatt and Balor and the Demon King and Fiend. I think they could have done a great storyline with those 2. So you're number 3.
My number 3, well, half of this is we're not stealing if we're not stealing.
Yep.
It's not C2C. I had lumped these 2 together specifically for the day, and that's Chainsaw Charlie and the Fiend Bray Wyatt. It makes it that the 2 above is a little, the one's a little more, but yeah, it's to see what both of them did with those characters were absolutely. It was absolutely crazy, and the thing that always blows my mind with Bray Wyatt was the fact is he let himself get set on fire in the middle of a ring to create the burnt Fiend.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely nuts. And I think Randy Orton to this day, I think, and from what I've heard, Randy Orton's having a real tough time with this, with Bray's passing. But for Bray to give Randy all the trust in the world to light him on fire like he was a Roman candle in the middle of the ring is beyond me. But yeah, those two, we wouldn't be having these categories if it weren't for these two guys.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the one thing is Vince was like not on board, but he wasn't against Bray Wyatt doing bringing his own characters in and creativity. So my number 2, I'm gonna go with your number 3. I mean, we're not C2C, but Chainsaw Charlie, when he brought that character in, and again, it's been said over and over again that he's, old and crazy, or I don't know the specific quote, but you get that age and you go from being your normal self to this hardcore legend / do whatever to make people cheer for you. Yeah, you're crazy. Terry Funk as Chainsaw Charlie. So you're number 2.
Well, my number 2, we're back to the saying, we're not stealing. This isn't C2C if we're not stealing. My number 2 is your number 4. My number 4, the Demon Finn Balor. I think the whole entire wrestling world thinks that we missed something huge. We'll get with the Demon versus the Fiend. I thought that was WrestleMania. I thought that was SummerSlam. That's a main event made in heaven, and you missed huge.
Well, I just think that pairing them up. I mean, you get the Fiend right. I mean, I think if I would have booked the Finn and Wyatt like in a single storyline, but then somehow they're alter egos, I would have booked as a tag team together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, and that's why we're sitting here doing this and not right.
And truthfully, I thought that was the greatest thing that they did when they put Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt together and calling themselves the Leader of Worlds. I thought that was.
I think it would have been better with Jeff as Willow. I think.
Oh, that would have been amazing too. Good trios. You could have made them good trios in that group.
Yeah. All right. So my number 1, and I'm going to guess not going out on a limb. It's your number 1. Mick Foley as Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, the only guy to be able to pull off all 3 in a Royal Rumble. But Dude Love was the funny guy, the heartthrob, and the other 2 were just hardcore. I mean, him and Funk together as Mankind and Chainsaw Charlie, or Cactus Jack, Chainsaw Charlie, was just a ride to watch. And I don't know how those 2 did what they did for wrestling. So you're number 1.
It's not that. It's not that.
Uh-oh.
I went with it. I went in a different direction, and I went with the Blue Blazer. I went with Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah. Owen Hart.
That was when you made this list up. This was the first person I thought of. I'm like, oh god, this is Owen Hart. This to me was Owen.
I forgot. I somewhat forgot that the Blue Blazer, because that's what he first came out as, was the Blue Blazer.
When he first came out, and
then he disappeared. It came back as Owen Hart.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the Prince of Hearts, and then he came back as the Black Heart. The Black Heart.
Listed all.
Yeah.
Okay. 3. Well, we still got 3, 2.5, 3. I mean.
No, we've got 3 because we still had both good Chainsaw Charlie and
yeah, we did. You grouped them together, so all right. So let's move into this was brought up by Aaron, I think, one of our last shows. Movies with wrestlers in them. I know we've had some other topics that kind of pertain to this, but so movies with wrestlers in them. Let's go with your number 5.
My number 5.
First off, we should have There should be 2 iconic ones for sure. We could probably go 3. There was a lot of. I was surprised how many wrestlers were in movies.
When I saw Pat Roach, I didn't realize Pat Roach was a wrestler, and I was like, holy hell. I looked it up, and all of a sudden there's like top 100 movies with wrestlers in it. Oh crap! Here we go.
All right,
I could be here forever. My number. How many can we do? How many do you think? You said
I say a couple. We could have 2. We should have 2 iconic ones. Well, I might not have one iconic one in there, but
what we consider iconic.
Yeah.
I'll say 3.
Okay.
I'll say 3. My number 5. When I saw this movie, I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, and they made it from a skit from Saturday Night Live. And when I saw the skit, they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to bring in what such and such." I won't, because if I give the name, I give away the title. We need to bring him. Oh, I need to get the group together. And then all of a sudden, you're looking in the back of the van, and it's the Great Khali. It's Chris Jericho. It's like 5 or 6 other people. Yeah, it's great. And then he leaves the what is it? He left like dynamite in the back of the van, and he blows them up. I think they're like every one of them dies, and it's hilarious when you find out that the bad guy is Val Kilmer. But they made this movie based off of a Saturday Night Live skit, which is actually a spoof off of MacGyver. My number 5 is MacGruber.
Yeah, I saw that movie. I did see it, but I saw it on the list.
Oh, you need to see it. If you see it for anything, you see it for like the first 25 to 30 minutes, and it's hilarious.
All right. So my number 5, what was it? The mid 2000s, I think this movie came out. Actually, I got 2. I got 2, and they both deal with wrestling. One is The Wrestler with Ernest Cat in there, and that jump started some speculation that I can't think of the main character now who played him. Was going to get in a match at WrestleMania.
He got into one, if I'm not mistaken.
They wanted him to wrestle, and he got in and punched Jericho's lights out.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, yeah. And then the other one tied with this one was No Holds Barred with Hogan, which also brought in Zeus. 2 iconic, wrestling films themselves. So your number 4.
My number 4. If I'm not mistaken, if every time you turned around, and my number 4 is a remake from a movie from 1973 starring Burt Reynolds. But and it's hilarious when you realize when you watch. This one made me laugh because of Kevin Nash.
Oh,
when Kevin Nash gets estrogen and he starts losing his mind, and you got Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bill Goldberg, and to see Burt Reynolds come back and play a character in this movie was amazing. But to see the wrestlers that were in this movie, and my number 4 is The Longest Yard.
Yeah, and that had the Great Khali in there, and it had Sapp was a TNA guy, I think.
Yeah, Bob Sapp. Yeah.
That was a good one. I do enjoy that. That would have been number 6 on mine. My number 4. I did not care for the comedian that this movie was made about, but I tell you what, watching the outtakes and the documentary on this movie being made, phenomenal. And it has Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross in there, and it's the Andy Kaufman movie, Man on the Moon. And Jim Carrey, I don't know, I don't recall if he won an award, but he should have won an award on this.
He should have. I think he won an award, but I don't think he won the Oscar.
But they said, and Jim Carrey even stated that when he accepted the role, he went to bed. Next morning, all he could do was act as Andy Kaufman. And he nailed it. And I don't like Andy Kaufman. I thought the guy was just annoying. And Jerry Lawler said that on the set that he started getting furious because it was Andy Kaufman to him, and he wanted to punch his lights out again.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so you're number 4 or
My
3.
number three. My number three. This one's hilarious because of just when I watch it, you know, it's another King, but it's Jimmy King. But to watch it, to see what WCW was able to do with this movie with Scott Conn and David Arquette, and to me, I love this movie. It's just so weird that this is if when it comes to an iconic movie for wrestling, and with wrestlers in it, it's this movie to me, and that's Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, I have a hard time putting it in an iconic category. It's a good one. But yeah, that took David Arquette, made him the champ of WCW, which is still dumb. But
yeah, that one I'll never get.
All right, number 3 for me, I believe it's also a remake from earlier days. Involves The Rock as a soldier, army guy, I believe. Comes back home. Everything's changed, and a casino takes over the main income for a lot of these people, and it's Walking Tall. That I think that movie alone put Rock on the map for acting. I could be wrong, but
you need to see you want to see something that really a Rock movie that, and I'm not going to say Scorpion King at this point. Might as well. No. Watch him in the Travolta movie Be Cool.
Oh yeah. Oh. That was a good one too. Yep. All right, you're number 2.
Number 2, I'm bringing funk back into this. To me, every time I see this movie, and I didn't realize this when I first watched the movie, I think it's your aunt that's going to be in love with me. I know it's my mom that's going to be in love with me because I'm bringing Patrick Swayze into the list to believe that I completely forgot that Terry Funk was in Over the Top. Didn't realize that, forgot it completely. But when I see Terry Funk basically go up to Patrick Swayze and say, "Who are you?" and I'm thinking, dude, and I'm looking at it going, dude, that's Terry Funk. He's gonna kill Patrick Swayze in this movie. And my number 2 is Roadhouse.
Yeah, and we're not C2C if we're not sniping. My number 2, I have both Over the Top and Roadhouse. I mean, Terry Funk just, when he said that to "Who are you?" and even Stallone, I think he was a butler for the guy that had his son and kind of poked him. It's just like, dude, that's Stallone, man. I don't know. I mean, I know Stallone's like 4 or 5 or something. I know he's a small guy, but yeah, Terry Funk and Roadhouse and Over the Top. You're number 1.
We're not going to get 3. I'm hoping we get 2. At this point, it's one of those. It's an iconic movie. It's not an iconic movie because of the wrestler, but it's an iconic movie because I think everybody in the planet in the United States, or everybody in the planet, has seen this movie. It's probably one of the greatest. To me, one of the greatest top 15, top 25 movies of all time. And to have Andre the Giant be in the movie is absolutely brilliant. I thought it was great casting. And that is The One Princess Bride.
Yeah, we got 2 because that was the first movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. So, but yeah, when you talk about wrestlers and movies, I think everybody goes to Princess Bride, Andre the Giant's character, and I believe I saw his documentary. They had the director on there, and I believe when they were casting, they said that they wanted Andre the Giant from day one, as long as he was, So,
well, he didn't, and that was and the funny thing is, if I'm not mistaken, not quite so funny, but that's the last time he's seen on the big screen because he dies before the red carpet. Before the movie premiere?
No. Well, no, because he has a cameo in there's another movie Giant had a cameo in Oh God, what was it? It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, where he was a warrior or something.
Oh no, that's right. He did Conan. He did
Yeah,
Conan
Conan. Yeah.
Conan the Conqueror, but that was before Princess Bride.
Yeah. So possibly, I don't know. I can't remember when the movie premiered and when Andre passed.
Right.
So, all right, so we got 2, we got 5 in our first 15. So we're kind of, if we're hanging on to a major league roster if we're talking baseball.
We're 300. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go with stay with the wrestling theme, and let's go with celebrities. We could kind of tribute this one to Bob Barker because he hosted WWE, but he wasn't a wrestler. So
That would have been amazing.
so celebrities that
They killed
wrestle.
the guy.
What's that?
Yeah, they killed the guy.
Yeah, no kidding. So this is my category to start. I say we got 3 solid ones. If we really think about it, we could probably swipe, but I think I have a curveball at 5. So
I'll go with your 3. I think we might 4, 3 is a possibility. I don't know. My number 1 might be a curveball. I'm not quite sure, but
yeah. Go 5. She teamed up with I think it was Edge and Trish Stratus in a triple threat mixed tag against I think it was Eminem and their Melina. I think it was. I could be wrong on the other team. Melina was a part of it. But my number 5, she comes from the real world. That's Snooki.
Okay. Yeah. I had to think about that for a second. I'm going, okay, I saw that one. Okay.
She actually performed pretty good. I mean, I know she's a little spark plug, and but yeah, she held her own. So you're number 5.
My number 5. I remember this was a delayed David versus Goliath type of thing. I believe this was a WrestleMania. It wasn't a main event, but it was a money grab. I think for Vince. To see the Big Show take on somebody about the size of his kneecap. It came up to about his waist, and it's just hilarious to see. I really wish that that the Big Show had knocked this fool out so badly. And my number 5 is Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because typically when we talk with people with egos, I totally just don't like them.
Right.
But yeah, Floyd, I wish Big Show would have just grabbed him and just kind of I'm not a big. I mean, Floyd, don't get me wrong, he probably knocked me out, but my number 4 just happened a few years ago at WrestleMania. I think it was Sami Zayn in the match with this celebrity. And it was kind of a funny hardcore match because I think they used everything from a big hand to a big mouse trap to little mouse traps to even the Johnny Knoxville's co-host got involved.
Right.
And Johnny Knoxville wrestling Jericho. Like I said, they used everything. So you're number 4.
My number 4. This was the guy that started the whole thing about NFL players getting into wrestling. It was big. It was Bam Bam Bigelow, which is funny because Bam Bam Bigelow just opens his mouth and you find out that Bam Bam Bigelow is not like the guy he is in normal. Nope. Because did you get a chance to see him about the Dark Side of the Ring about Bam Bam Bigelow?
I don't know if I watched that one or not yet.
Oh my God! You find out that Bigelow isn't anything like this character in the ring, and it's just amazing. But to see an NFL player get in, we've had NFL players get in the ring before, and that used to wrestle. I know there's a couple that played for the Baltimore Colts. Everybody remembers Ernie Ladd was a football player. You got Luger, who was a football player. Eventually Bill Goldberg becomes a
Yep.
It's hilarious. But when you get one guy who is constantly considered the best defensive pass rusher in the entire in NFL history, and he gets into WrestleMania and he goes against probably, and the funny thing is, this is where Steve McMichael shows up for the first time. This because he was part of that lumberjack match, him and William Perry.
Yep.
And it's one Lawrence Taylor.
Yep. All right, so my number 3, C2C. If we're not sniping. Yeah, I actually got a trio. 2 you named, LT and William Perry, because William Perry was in the first WrestleMania Battle Royal, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Either 1 or 2. They had it in Chicago. Right. I also put Pete Rose in there, even though Pete Rose, I think, just wrestled like quickly in a Royal Rumble, but he came back like 3 times in a row and got power drive by Cade, and that's the only Hall of Fame that Pete Rose is in right now. But yeah, so all right, you're number 3.
My number 3, we're going WCW. Okay. To me, I thought this was hilarious, and I thought, and the funny thing is, when he ended up getting into the ring, these two were facing off. I think these two were facing off against each other in the NBA Finals. I have 2 for my number 3.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one.
And I think at the time it was the Bulls versus the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals, and it just thought it was completely weird. And one wrestled with Hogan, the other one wrestled with Diamond Dallas Page. My 2 for number 3 is Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, they held their own. Rodman really held his own. Karl Malone, I think, could have held his own if he had more training. I think. I mean, yeah. You know, my number 2 is pretty much a celebrity that kind of probably put celebrities on the map to do this stuff. And if WrestleMania 1 doesn't happen, we probably don't get these celebrities to get in the ring. And again, he held his own with Hogan, and that's Mr. T. And I think he wrestled 1 and 2 against Piper. So yeah, Mr. T. You're number 2.
Oh well, this is C2C, right?
Yes, it is.
Last time we checked on the door, it was C2C. Last title on the show was C2C Rankem.
Yep.
Our motto is we're not sniping. It's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 2 is your number 2.
All right, Mr. T. Yeah. All right, my number 1. A couple guys that recently got into the ring, and honestly, they both. I know one is supposedly under contract, but doing one thing. The other one, I think, is semi under contract, doing his own thing. But I think these 2 young lads, if they put it together, they could have decent careers. And that's Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. I got them 2 together. They both have. Logan Paul has impressed me a lot. Bad Bunny has impressed me. But yeah, Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, number 1. So you're number 1.
My number 1. I wish I went that way, but I didn't go that way. You kind of hinted to it with your Man in the Moon. Truthfully, if this man doesn't go into wrestling, I think we don't. I think we're not in this spot. We're now maybe catching up to where we were back in the 70s, and that's one Andy Kaufman.
Yeah. Andy Kaufman should have been. I dropped the ball on that one. Andy Kaufman.
That's all right. It's not Tony Gwynn. You're okay.
Yeah, yeah. Andy Kaufman should have been on that one because, yeah, it was a bit. I mean, yeah, he said that he always wanted to be a wrestler and get in there, and then he did his wrestling with the women, and But yeah, I should have put him on there. Even when I did the movie, I didn't even think about it, but. So all right, so we're 2 for 5. We're slowly getting there. So let's get into our last category, or not our last one, but our last tribute category. I guess we could go with, and that's the recent pass of Bob Barker. Bob Barker appearances not related to Price is Right, because we all know that's what we all know him for. And again, rest in peace to Barker and the Fiend and Funk. So start with your number 5.
How many do you think you can get?
We should get 3 for sure. There should be 3 ones that when we named this category should have popped in our heads.
Yeah, there was no question.
I'll go 3.
I'll go 3 if we get. Well, we both have kids, so I could probably say 4.
Oh, all right. Let's see where you go with that one.
I think we can go 4. But I'm going to go with. I know my dad was a big fan of Bonanza, and I didn't realize that Bob Barker was in Bonanza. Now I have to go find this. There was an episode,
I do recall that. Yes.
And I had to look this up going because this was a little tough. This was a little tough to find.
It was.
And then when they're like, and I'll be honest, I went to Wikipedia and they said, oh, but Bob Barker was in an episode of Bonanza as an act by the character named Mort. Now I have to go look it up.
Yeah, I do recall that. I don't think I saw that. That's why it didn't jump at me. My number 5, like you said, we both have kids. I had a kid that watched the show very rarely, but he did watch it. I have to go back, and I think we probably actually saw this episode, and that was Bob Barker voicing in the TV show SpongeBob SquarePants, Bob Barnacle, who was a snail or something, I think it was. So, yeah, Bob Barker doing the voice. You're number 4.
Well, we're going to start right off the top. C2C, this is when I saw it, because I remember this episode. I remember this going, holy smokes, it's Bob Barker. And yeah, that's SpongeBob SquarePants is Bob Barnacle. Yep. Yeah, I saw it. I remember it, and it just stuck to my head. I'm going, okay, I remember 3. I can remember 3 right off the top, and then I remember the 4th one. So,
all right. So number 4, a little bit before my time, but this parade is iconic in the college season. It used to be around the national championship game a lot, especially for the Big Ten. It's a big parade. And that's the Roses Parade. He was the voice or the Grand Marshal or whatever you want to call between the 70s and 80s. You're number 4. No, number 4.
My number 3.
3. All right, yeah.
My number 3. There's, we're big wrestling fans.
Yep.
Yeah, we started this show claiming we were big wrestling fans.
Yep.
And there was this time where Bob Barker showed up on Monday Night Raw. And the big thing was he had this big confrontation with Chris Jericho, and he talked about and all the funny things. And I saw the clip today again, so it was funny. It's hilarious where he confronts Chris Jericho, and I need a number. Nobody, and they're talking about how Bob Barker was just running him through the mill, saying, "Well, your mom's not going to like that. You're being rude." and Chris going, "Nobody calls me Chris," and even though it says Chris on his shirt, on his name tag, and says, "I'm 1/2." Oh, I heard 1. Okay, now. So yeah, my number 3 is Monday Night Raw against Chris Jericho with Chris Jericho.
Yep, that's my number 3. We're sniping again. We did get a flash, like a warning sign. We're gonna snipe here. So yeah, my number 3 is when Bob Barker was guest GM host of Monday Night Raw. So you're number 2.
My number 2. It's funny because I saw this episode. I saw this episode so many times. I still think it's hilarious. There's a TV show where there's a Neil Patrick Harris plays this character by the name of Barney Stinson. And it's hilarious where he thinks his real dad, because he doesn't know who his real dad is.
Okay.
It's hilarious. And it's if you guys I know in Italy it's on Disney Plus, but I don't know if it's on Disney Plus in the United States. Might be on Hulu. The show might be on Hulu. Where he goes and he gets his way on. He does all this homework where he tries to memorize all the prices of the retail price every prize that could possibly show up on The Price is Right, so he could meet Bob Barker. And it's hilarious because he thinks Bob Barker's his real dad.
Oh, nice.
And the TV show is called How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is on Disney Plus. It's on Hulu too, but I believe it's on Disney Plus. Okay, I forgot that Barker was on that one. Like you said, it was a kind of a tough category. So, my number 2, before Price is Right, he hosted another game show. And also he sat in on one too, but the game show was the match game, and he hosted it from 73 to 80. So
I saw that one.
Yeah. All right. Number 1, is this a slam dunk?
If we don't have the same number 1, we're ending the show right now.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because his scene is so brilliant, and you never expect this out of Bob Barker. And the funny thing is when you see Adam Sandler tell Bob Barker, "The price is wrong, Bob," and then turns around and gets drilled. To me, I think it's one of the best cameos of anybody in movie history, and that's one Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I can't even joke like you do with me once in a while because I'm just laughing at just thinking of it in my brain. But yeah, Happy Gilmore, Bob Barker, and then once he punches him out, he's on the ground, and Bob looks at him and goes, "The price is wrong," or the price is right, bitch. So yeah, Happy Gilmore is definitely slam dunk number 1. So
yeah.
All right, so let's get into some of our normal topics here. Again, we're going to do some birthdays here to end out the month. So anybody that has a birthday in August, happy birthday. And
we're gonna end it on birthdays, and then no, we're not.
Yeah, we do have yeah. So anyway, for people that had birthdays 8 days ago on August 20th, here's who shares birthdays with you. So, my number 5. Well, let's see. I don't know. We should have. I think we have a slam dunk for 1. Oh, you're going 3.
3 is impossible. Slam dunk 1, yeah.
Wow. I'll see that 3. We could possibly do it.
Yeah.
Well, my number 1, we're staying with the wrestling theme.
Really?
Back in the 90s, this guy was, I hate to say, still a line from Dusty Rhodes, but he was a working man's man. He came out in a trash can, and actually on another show that I've been a part of, actually got to talk to this guy. And that's one Duke the Dumpster Drozy.
Okay, I didn't see Duke the Dumpster Drozy.
Yeah, I had to relook because I had because I think they used his real name. I'm like, wait a minute, is that who I think it is? So yeah. All right, you're number 5.
Isn't his name? No, I'm thinking of the Brooklyn Brawler. I was going to say Steve Lombardozzi, but that's Brooklyn Brawler.
No.
Well, okay, maybe we won't have 3. This might be a little tough. My number 5 has won himself a Golden Globe, but is known for. He won a Golden Globe last year for Anything, Everywhere, Anywhere, All at Once. I can't remember. I don't like the movie. I think it was okay. But everybody remembers my number 5 for Goonies and for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Everybody remembers him for Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And my number 5 is Ke Huy Quan.
Oh, that was a little inventor dude.
Yeah.
I wish they would have made a second one of that.
They're still talking about it.
They're still talking, but I know the character that plays the big kid. What was his name? He did a shuffle.
Oh,
I can't think of his name. He's lost a lot of weight, so he's
Yeah.
having a hard time wanting to do that movie. So,
Well, and if they write it right, it'll be fine.
yeah. So it'll be interesting if they ever get that up there. So, all right. So my number when you started saying one awards, I'm like, oh, we got one for sure. But my number one, he's a host, talk show host. He might have won awards. I think he does a lot of morning shows. I think he used to be at 60 Minutes. And that's one Al Roker.
Did I miss? Did I not do the right? Oh, go ahead. This is scaring
Al
me.
Roker.
He was on that name.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little worried. Okay.
Well, if we name one that's right, maybe we'll make sure you're on the right day. But anyways, go with your number.
All right, I know this, and the funny thing is, I know this guy has won an award too, which is great because he's considered one of the greatest. He's considered one of the greatest rock stars in history, and part of one of the greatest rock bands of history. Now I'm looking to see if I've screwed up somewhere. Okay, celebrities born on August 20th. No, I'm good. Okay, I had to look at this going, how did I miss this? Considered one of the greatest guitarists ever to play in that, and he one of the greatest writers, rock and roll writers in history, for the lovely band called Led Zeppelin. My number 4 is Robert Plant.
Oh, you went that route. Okay.
Okay, what did I know? I'll go that other route.
I am not gonna say who I thought you were going with the guitarist because I was actually just looking up somebody that was a good guitarist. So we're at number 3. My number 3 rapper. I don't know if I consider him a rapper, but rapper / heavy metalist. I don't know. I really don't think he's a rapper, but that's what he's listed as. And that's one Fred Durst, born on this day. So
Born on that day.
53, by the way. I thought he would be a little
I
younger.
didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah. All right, you're number 2.
3.
3, yeah.
My number 3 has played Spider-Man. In the Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, he's done Spider-Man No Way Home. He's played so many different things, and to find out that he's British, and it's just like, but you've played so many different Americans, dude. Yeah. And that's one Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So. We're not getting 3, are we? We're not even getting close to 3.
No, because I'm on number 2.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, we can't get number 3 unless you're sniping somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if the math holds out. I don't know. It's too early. But my number 2, get away from sports and entertainment, and we talk about the 23rd president of the United States, and that's one Benjamin Harrison.
Yeah, I don't have him on the list.
All right.
But I'm going to say this quite nicely. It's not C2C unless we're sniping.
Okay.
My number 2 is your number 3, Fred Durst.
All right. I was kind of wondering if we were going to get the music guy right. Because I didn't have
one of the music guys right, yeah.
And my number 1, I know I probably brought him up on other shows.
Oh God! No, I know.
And he's
now I know I'm screwed somewhere.
He's one of the coolest guys. Got one of the deepest voices. Drives the women crazy, and honestly, I ain't gonna lie, it drives me crazy when I hear the voice because I think it's just so intimidating, but in a cool way. He showed up on the movie Soul Men with Bernie Mac and Samuel L. Jackson. Played himself, and that's one Isaac Hayes. All right, so we now got one. That's what I thought the slam dunk would have been. But all right,
My number one is probably considered. Okay, I'm saying this very very carefully,
oh,
um, because we all know probably one of the greatest boxing promoters in world history, in the history of boxing. Mike Tyson would not agree with me. Many of his other promoted stars will not agree with me. But I don't think boxing gets the promotion that it does. And I'm not speaking of Bob Arum. I'm speaking of one Don King.
oh, I missed that one. Wow,
That's who I replaced Harrison with.
okay. I did not see that. That's Don King. That's
That made me sick.
if it wasn't for him, boxing, probably wouldn't be where it's at. So I give the props there. All right, so let's move into a couple days ago, August 26th, birthdays. So I know I got one curveball on here, unless you really went out of your way to find it. I want to say we're going to get 4, but we've been way off right now. You're going 3. Oh,
That fourth one might be an iffy.
okay. Yeah, I'll go. I'll solid 2 for sure.
Solid 2 for sure.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
I kind of went into. I kind of thought when I was looking through this, I saw a couple names pop up, or I saw one name pop up. I'm like, okay, this one's going to hit Tim in his history stuff. So, all right. So, you start? So let's go with number 5.
I start. To me, the movie that he was in was absolutely brilliant. The sequel, not so much, because it decided to throw Donald Trump in. I was none too thrilled about that. But to me, one of the most iconic scenes, and that's iconic. But the iconic scene is with this actor and John Candy and Uncle Buck. The absolutely greatest back and forth in movie cinematic history. My number 5. It's so nice to see that he's come back and gotten himself straight back to where he can come back and act like I know he can. And that's when Macaulay Culkin.
Yep. All right. We need to get that warning up there. Flashes, because we're starting number 5 as a snipe. I actually forgot about the John Candy interaction with him and Uncle Buck, which was iconic. You are right. Number 1 and number 2 for Home Alone were good. I mean, it was pretty much the same movie, just different ways. But actually, the interaction with him and the robbers, I can't think of the
with Pesci and Daniel.
Pesci were phenomenal. But Macaulay Culkin, number 5, and I'm glad he's back on the right path there. So, all right, you're number 4.
And he's also played one of the greatest villains I've ever seen. And if you ever watch The Good Child,
okay.
Oh my God, him playing opposite of Elijah Wood is the good son. Absolute unbelievable to me. I've never wanted to throw a kid off a cliff more in my life until I saw that movie. So yeah, Macaulay Culkin was brilliant.
Right.
My number 4, second generational talent in Hollywood. Most people don't know that who his dad is, but they do when you realize that my number 4, his father played in the TV series Chips. His dad's name was Robert Pine. He's actually been in a couple Rob Zombie movies later on. But Chris Pine has made a name for himself as well. He's done Wonder Woman. He's just got done doing the Dungeons and Dragons movie. He's getting himself out there where he's starting to become the bigger name than his dad, and I'm thinking his dad's absolutely proud of that. And my number 4, I've already kind of hinted at, was Chris Pine.
Okay. My number 4, I'm gonna go with a big sweeping curveball on this one. Scrolling through with birthdays just jumped out at me because and should get some recognition because they do a lot. and that's the wheelchair athlete. So Special Olympics. I know we just had some here in Minnesota, um, and that's Ryan Hansen was a wheelchair athlete. Did very well from reading his little bio. So, all right, you're number 3.
I didn't see that one. That's a good one. I'm glad you brought that one up. I really am. Number 3, Cy Young Award winner. Played for, I think at this point, 4 teams. I'm not sure. I remember I got a chance to watch him pitch in Tampa. I remember it was my birthday week, and the rumors were that they were possibly getting ready to trade him to my Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, we were expecting him to leave with the Milwaukee Brewers when that series was over. That didn't happen. He goes, if I'm not mistaken, that was the year he goes to Detroit. I think he was traded to, was he traded to Detroit, or was he traded to the Dodgers? Or no, I think he was traded to I can't remember. He's played for 4 or 5 teams after he left Tampa. To me, one of my favorite Tampa Bay Rays I've been lucky enough to watch. And that's one David Price.
Yeah, didn't he go to the Dodgers first?
I think he went to Dodgers. I know he went to the Dodgers. He played for the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the
Blue Jays,
Tigers. I was so hoping we were leaving there with him, and it never happened.
That's one thing when all those rumors started. It's like, oh God, that'd be awesome. And
the thing is, it was nice. We were getting all those rumors. We know where we were getting all those rumors from. We were getting all those rumors from the Tampa Bay Rays, radio station. So
he went to Detroit.
He went to Detroit.
Then Detroit traded him a year later to Toronto. And then he went to Boston, and then he did not play. Due to COVID-20, and then he finished with the Dodgers.
Right.
So yeah. All right. So my number 3, another sport athlete. The football world, with football's coming up, you can watch myself and Tim on Morning Tailgate. Hopefully this week we've had some conflicts, but that is one Baltimore Raven running back, Jamal Lewis.
I saw that one. I figured. Here's the funny thing is, I figured if I was going to go in the same direction as you were, I figured I'd take David Price. So I took
Price.
I took Jamal Lewis out and put David Price in.
Yeah. See, now we're starting to contradict ourselves. We're trying to one up the other one. So, all right, you're number 2.
My number 2. This is where the slam dunk should start. This should be where the slam dunks should start. You brought her up. I think the last time we were on a show, you brought her up because I want to say that I think it was one of our actors, favorite comedian actors, and I think she was on your list. I think she was on your list. Born in Illinois, absolutely hilarious. I find her. She's absolutely one of the craziest, hilarious, and she doesn't swear in real life, which I found out, which is crazy. And then you look at her, and This Is 40, and the bloopers from This Is 40, and she swears as if she wrote the swears in the dictionary herself. And that's one Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. My number 2 is, there's a warning again. We're going to have Chris make up one, or someone make up one that pops up, because you sniped her at 2, and I got her at number 2. Melissa McCarthy. I mean, every movie she's in, even TV show, Mike and Molly. I started watching I watched Mike and Molly at first. I'm like, this guy is stupid. But then once I started seeing her act and really got to watch her, I started watching Mike and Molly again. She's hilarious. And Tammy, what's that one with her and where she's a cop?
When she's a cop. Did you ever see the one where Tammy's the one that plays Tammy's in Eastbound and Down? Or where she used to be where she was the ex-wife of the baseball player.
Yeah, but yeah, Melissa McCarthy, funny lady. So, all right, you're number 1.
I'm telling you, this is a slam dunk. I know it's your number 1 because you brought it up. I didn't realize that she was was she Indian? Did I see that right or did I see that wrong? But wins a Nobel Peace Prize in the 70s. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, she's up for beatification. So they're trying to make her she's going through sainthood right now. They're trying to see if she's performed 3 miracles. But that is one Mother Teresa.
When I saw that name, there was no doubt she was. I don't think there was a name that I could have substitute this for. But yeah, Mother Teresa again, sniped again. But yeah, Mother Teresa definitely number one. You know, I'm not much of history. I'm not much in religion, but you see that name in any list that you got to rank. I mean, that's that's a slam dunk at number one. I mean, I don't know what name could have topped that one. So, all right. So we did 3 for 5, all snipes, all in the same 3 for 3 on snipes in the same spot.
I don't think we normally do that trick.
All right. So let's move into tomorrow's birthdays, August 29th birthdays.
When I picked this date, this was purely accidental. This was just to throw it out there because I was just picking dates. So okay.
Yeah. Again, I think there's a slam dunk for sure.
Oh. If there's not,
there's either 2. I say we go 2, possibly 3. I'll be surprised if we get a curveball together because I have a couple curveballs, which
I've got a couple curveballs, but I don't think we went the same way.
But our number one should be a slam dunk.
Oh yeah, I think we get 3. I think we get 3. 3 is going to be. I think our 3 is our ceiling, as Michael Jordan said. The ceiling is the roof. I think we're getting 3.
Yep. All right. So my number. I start. Yeah. So my number 5, my first curveball, Minnesota kid, actually graduated from the same college as my Aunt Melanie did. Went on to the NBA, won 3 titles, I think, in his first 3 years, or 2 in 3 years. Haven't heard from the guy since, but that's one Devin George from Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah, we're not getting 5.
I figured 5 was going to be a rough one. So you're number 5.
Much like you started a curveball at your number 5, I'm going to give my curveball at number 5.
All right.
You know how I like to bring up the crazy ones.
Uh-oh.
If you have this crazy one, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. When I saw this, I had to put this on. You know how I like to put cartoon characters and their birthdays on Facebook, on my lists. Tomorrow is the official birthday of one Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, I guess I must have missed that one scrolling through. Maybe I saw the name and just didn't register. So all right, yeah, you like to throw those out there. My number 4, if it wasn't for him, I know a lot of people that enjoyed his designing of video games would not have nothing to do, and I've played a couple of them. I just don't have the attention span to play them. And that's the creator. I want to say, I forgot to write down the Final Fantasy series. And that's one, and I'm going to butcher the name, and anybody that is a background, I'm sorry it offended you. That's one, Kumsho Tanaka. He was the inventor of the video games for the Final Fantasy series. All right, you're number 4.
I love the Final Fantasy series, and that's kind of weird that I would have that curveball, but I don't. Ooh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to the baseball realm. I believe he won the Cy Young with the Houston Astros.
Okay.
I was lucky enough, again, this one of those guys I was lucky enough to watch pitch when he was still with the Astros. That's nice. That's the great thing about the Brewers going into the National League after so many years in the American League, that I get to see that. But Roy Oswalt actually pitched on my birthday in Milwaukee. Right after they came back from the All-Star break back in, I want to say 2001. But I was lucky enough to see Roy Oswalt pitch. My number 4, as you pretty much gathered, is Roy Oswalt.
That was your number. Where were we at 4? Okay.
Yeah, my number 4.
My number 3, we're going the wrestling route. One of the original Cowboys, I guess. As a matter of fact, I think part of his name was Cowboy. And that's one Stan Hansen.
Yeah, unless we're sniping, we're not getting 3. My number 3 is an actor. He played in the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, where he played the Santa Claus. But more people recognize him and remember who he is when he played John Hammond in the first Jurassic Park movie, plus the third Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic Park 3. Why did that name skip my head? But he's screen actor, stage actor, huge stage actor in Great Britain, and that's one Richard Attenborough.
Yeah, we're not getting that one. So my number 2, we're sniping at number 4 here. I got Roy's Allroll on there at number 4 or at number 2. So got your number 4. So you're number 2.
My number 2, we talked about him backstage briefly, being born in August and dying in August. At one point was the Republican presidential candidate. Brought in Sarah Palin into the stratosphere of mainstream public by making her the vice presidential nomination. But his claim to fame was that he was a POW during the Vietnam War and he became one of the amazing senators who was against Donald Trump. Again, we're not being political. But my number 2 is the great senator from the great state of Arizona, John McCain.
The great senator. Okay, kissing butt. All right, my number 1.
This is going to be.
I believe this is going to be a slam dunk.
If it's not, this is Tony Gwynn. This is worse than Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, and actually, he got ties to our number 5 in our on the 26th birthdays because he was in a video, and those two became best of friends. And again, I know he was the king of pop, but I still think I would have loved to see him stay with the Jackson 5. See where they could have went, but that's one Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it's not C2C unless we're sniping, and it's not sniping when it's a slam dunk at this point.
Yeah,
this is like an open lane for Michael Jordan. Yeah, my number 1 is your number 1.
Yeah, I don't think again. There's another well, I guess if Mother Teresa was on this list, it'd be hard to put him ahead of. Or him ahead of Mother Teresa, but
right,
yeah. All right, so we had a little debate backstage because we're going to do people that passed away in August. Again, we're going to exclude, but honorable mention: Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt, Bob Barker. I think that's a given. We're going to go 10. We're going to go top 10 here because there was at least 20. So again, if people missed out, we are sorry. To do that, so we'll kick it off at number 10. So
how many? We've done 10. I've put 10 up. How many?
I'd like to go say we're going to go 500 because there's a lot of names on here. So I'm going to go 500. We're going to go 5 for 10.
I think we can go 7 for 10. No. 6 for 10 because unless you put this is going to be interesting. My number 10. We don't have these. We don't have these little things right here.
Ooh,
because of the invention created by my number 10. Not the cell phone part, but people wouldn't be able to talk to each other for simultaneously if it wasn't for my number 10. We'd still be talking to each other to each other 2-3 days at a time through the mail. But my number 10 is Alexander Graham Bell.
Wow, I missed that one. I guess I didn't look deep enough into certain days. I missed that one. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of people I've even missed. My number 2, again.
10.
10, I'm sorry.
Like Ty
I'm looking
Dillinger.
at it too. Yeah.
Like Ty Dillinger, 10.
Yeah. The perfect 10. Yeah. My number 10. Again, Tim, this is kind of off of your field because you always say, when we used to travel, we used to listen to old country music. He might be on your list, so I'll be surprised if he's not. And that's one Glenn Campbell. Oh, dear. All right, I guess we know that answer. So, all right, let's go with number 10 or 9.
I think I didn't need that one. My number 9. You brought him up. You legitimately brought him up on one of your birthdays.
Okay.
But you brought it, and it's not for the reason why you brought him up, because it wasn't his birthday. But he showed up on a movie with my number 9 and Samuel L. Jackson. To me, I think is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen. One of the original kings of comedy, besides D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey. And
you got to be kidding.
I think who's the other one in that group? Besides my number 10, 9.
4 of them. It's Steve Harvey, Hughley.
You're going to say my number 9?
No, I know who your number 9 is.
I can't remember who's the other one. Was it D.L. Hughley? Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
And then my number, as we know that those 3 are still alive, quite well, quite healthy and quite alive. And that is one Bernie Mac.
Dang it. I love Bernie Mac too.
I do too. Absolutely.
I missed that one.
The thing about him, the way he says milk and cookies to me, just I lose it. I'm done for the week.
Soul Man was so good with him in there. That's where I actually kind of started watching Bernie Mac, even him and Mr. 3000.
Yeah. It's a brewer.
When you said I brought him up, you said it wasn't birthdays, but my number 9 talked about him on birthdays, and that was my number 1 birthday. That's Isaac Hayes, who was also in Soul Man. So it's a small butt down the first baseline for us. Yeah. So
it's
all right.
That's like hitting a bunt during a perfect game no hitter.
Yeah. All right, you're number 8.
My number 8, to me, and this is the greatest thing, because I went to a buddy of mine's comedy show, and he makes the comment, who's the greatest heavyweight champion of all time? He's a huge wrestling fan, and everybody brings up Hulk Hogan. Me, being the smart ass that I can be, I said my number 8. The real reason why Balboa has the name Rocky, my number 8 is Rocky Marciano.
Ooh, another name I kind of missed. Okay. I got, like I said, there's a lot on here. I don't even have one. Like I said, my 20. When it comes to deaths, I need to start kind of scrolling a little bit slower than I do. My number 8. I know he's known for a couple films. I think one is the Mad Hatter type in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But I also liked them in Blazing Saddles, and I know there's a couple other ones I'm missing. And that's Gene Wilder.
Yeah. That's so tough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, this is number 7.
We're getting 4 at this point. If we
there's a lot. When you said 7, I'm like, ooh.
All
right.
4.
So you're at number 7.
7. Yeah, we're not getting 7. To me, this man has experience in the world, he's experienced the greatest joy, and then he's experienced such great heartache. And to believe him being the first person to circumnavigate the globe, the first person to cross the Atlantic by air in a plane called the Spirit of St. Louis. The reason why St. Louis, the ABA team in St. Louis was called the Spirits, was because of his airplane. And then to have his child kidnapped from his home is just crazy. But my number 7 is Charles Lindbergh.
Wow.
You're playing this off really well if you have Charles Lindbergh.
No, I don't have Charles Lindbergh. when you said the highest and highs and lowest and lows, I'm like, okay, which Minnesota Twin did I miss? My number 7 was probably every childhood's wildest dreams back in the day that she was popular. Even looking at her pictures now, I mean, I think a lot of younger generations, I know us, she was the ladies' lady. I mean, she did it all, acting, modeling. They still talk about her to this day. Blonde, gorgeous. I think she had a run-in with a couple presidents, at least one. That's one, Marilyn Monroe. All right, you're number 6.
Okay. Whew. I don't know if we're definitely not getting 6. My number 6. This is one of those, because everybody's in the past at this point. It's all history lessons, especially with August. The original member of a group, original member of the group called The Right Stuff. The original group, the first astronauts that went to NASA, but is also considered, when we always say somebody has to be the first, this man is the ultimate first, the first man to step on the moon, and that is one Neil Armstrong.
Missed that one too. Son of a wow. Yeah, he's one too that ain't he the one that everybody said that if they went up to him and told him that.
No, that's Buzz Aldrin.
Aldrin, okay, all right. I knew it was one of the two, and I'm just like, yeah, we talked about him before, but we talked about Buzz Aldrin too.
Yeah.
All right. My number 6, I think it was last year she passed away. And it was heartbreaking to me because watched her in one movie and I watched it over and over again. Honestly, I don't think I've watched it since she's passed away. And that's one gorgeous lady, Olivia Newton-John.
Not on my list.
Wow.
No, there's huge names up on my list.
Oh, there's huge names. Like I said, when we talked about backstage, 5 was not going to do it.
No, 5 wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. All right. So you're number 5.
Speaking of number 5, I had to lump these two together because of one reason. Because they both played for the New York Yankees. I know it doesn't make me feel any better. One is known as the Sultan of SWAT. The other is the Mick. My number 5 is Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle.
All right, number 5. I'm going with a coach.
What?
Minnesota's own.
Yeah, as long as you didn't say Vince Lombardi.
No, hockey style, of course, big here in Minnesota. And if you guys watch, I I can't think the movie now of the U.S. the 1980 hockey team.
Oh no, not Herb Brooks.
Yes, Herb Brooks.
Oh my God, Here's the worst thing: is Herb Brooks coached for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, Herb Brooks.
Okay.
Number 5.
Okay.
All right, you're number 4.
All right, my number 4. Well, as everybody knows from the last show we were on, which was a couple weeks ago, my beautiful wife and stepdaughter went to Paris. They were lucky enough to get pictures of the hotel and of the road where on that day this person passed away. It's illegal for people to go down into the underpass, into the tunnel, because it's a highway. But to most people, she had a Thai Beanie Baby made for her. She also had a song rewrote for her because of your number. What was your Marilyn Monroe one?
Number 7.
Number 7, right? Okay. So they rewrote "Candle in the Wind" for my number 4.
No.
And then she was known as the People's Princess.
No.
My number 4 is Princess Diana.
How did I miss that one? That's all. That's almost as bad as one Tony Gwynn. That ranks up there. Oh man, I can't believe I missed that one. Because I remember that when that happened, I
do too.
I fell asleep watching. I think I was watching wrestling. I fell asleep and I woke up and I saw and I wiped the eyes. And my TV was still on. I saw the breaking news. And I'm like, what? And I had to focus in on it. I'm just like, no kidding. Wow, yeah. Oh,
I was the same way. I fell asleep on the couch watching. I like you watching wrestling. I woke up, turned it on, CBS up to the minute, and they were showing it up on CBS up to minute and breaking news.
I knew she was coming up too, and I can't believe I missed that one. How did I miss that? All right, my number 4. We've talked about this lady plenty of times on different. I think we've had her birthday. I think we talked her on a music list.
Who did
and that's
I
the
miss?
Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
Jeez. Okay, yeah, we're definitely not getting whatever you said either.
Wow.
Holy smokes! Well, I'm gonna leave a little pressure. I'm gonna alleviate some pressure for you.
Okay.
It's not C2C unless we're sniping.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah, I know. Your number 7 is my number 3, Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm at number 3. I know we talked about this guy over and over again when it comes to comic movies, TV shows.
Don't say it. Don't say I missed that one.
Funny guys.
Don't say I missed that one.
Sitting on top of his head on a couch doing a bit. Played on Happy Days. And oh, yeah. And I know you said you haven't watched anything with him in it since his passing, and that's Robin Williams.
Holy.
Yeah.
Holy. I don't like that I missed that, but I have a good reason for my 1 and 2.
Well, I get it. We got one, but yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Holy smokes! I got to do better looking too because I thought he died in July.
No, August 11th. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Because that's Emanuela's best friend's birthday. I remember now. I can't.
August 11th, 2014.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Yeah. And I don't think I looked up the date on Princess Di. That's why I missed her. Because she would have been on my list. All right, you're number 2.
Bernie Mac wouldn't have been on my list. As much as I love Bernie, I wouldn't have put Bernie on my list.
Yeah.
My number two, you're going to be shocked by my. You're not going to be shocked by my number one. My number two should be any other month would have been a slam dunk, but it's not. He passed away. Everybody remembers. I don't think you were born yet, because it was 77, August 15th of 1977. 15th, yeah, 15th, which is my Uncle Joe's birthday. Everybody. I was lucky enough to be on this planet. My brother was a couple months old, lucky enough to be on this planet. Say they were on this planet with this person, and that's one king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Now you're wondering who my number one is.
77, yep. All right, my number two. We're gonna snipe here a little bit. I'm going way back to your number 10, I think it was, the group. I added a third person into that because if you talk baseball, you definitely got Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, but you also have one voice of the Dodgers, Vince Scully.
Yeah, I can.
Again, you can't have a list. I mean,
you can't.
All right, I'm kind of curious on your number one.
Well, this is the weird thing. It was weird that you brought it up, and like I was kind of hoping this wasn't the month that we would do this one. This one's a little difficult. We just celebrate 8 years. Not celebrated. We just had a memory of 8 years ago. Back in 2018. Little tough, I'll be honest. August 25th, 2018. It's not a celebrity, at least not to the world. But he's a celebrity in my family. He will always be a celebrity in my family. And that's my dad.
Oh man, no, I didn't do it.
My dad passed away after a very short battle of cancer. And my dad, every month, if it came up to every month, my dad would be number one on that list every month. But yeah, my number one is my dad.
There's no beating that one. I totally respect that, and again, just it was shocked the day you broke it on Facebook, because I don't think you messaged me that, but when I saw that, I reached out right away to you, Brian, Heather. That was definitely shocking. But we're gonna end on a snipe because if I didn't put this on my list, I'd be haunted for the rest of my life, and that is one Elvis Presley. So, yeah, you definitely had a good reason, because I'm like, who is your number one if Presley's not on there? But yeah, that trumps all celebrities right there. But again, guys, had a good list, had some fun, again, rest in peace to everybody. Rest in peace to, Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt, Bob Barker. Definitely hit home to me, Tim. I know this month was not a good month, but I still 8 years, man. I can't believe that. But so anyways, what's final thoughts there, Tim?
I love doing these mega shows. It's cool. It really gives us it gives our viewers a better chance to see how we see things. It's nice. It gives us a little more chance in front of the screen to show a little bit of our humanity. Just happened to be a little bit more mine this month. But I like it. It's fun. I can't wait to do this one again.
Yeah, no, definitely all these mega shows. We are going to be up and down. I got some things changing in my life, work related. So once I get that situated, we'll definitely have more of a grasp on what times we're going to do. But You can catch myself and Tim on deck. You can catch myself, Tim, right here on C2C Rankem. And Sundays, ramping up for the football season. Going to give those big predictions here in a matter of a week or so because season starts the 7th. So, but with that being said, keep checking out C2C all week long. Between the Ropes, we'll be doing a very special show this week covering the life of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Please catch that. So with that being said, Tim, thank you. Viewers, thank you. No comments today, so Tim's fan club must not have been awake. But anyways, we will check you all next time on C2C Rankem. Have a good one.